Good afternoon and welcome to webinar number 6 of Reporting Center and Advising Queries. First, I just want to thank you very much for your patience as we work out some technical difficulties. And for our agenda today, we have an overview of the SIS project, an overview of Go Lives 5.0 through 5.7, and then we go into our Reporting Center demonstration, followed by some questions, and then we'll be looking at Query Viewer, and we'll follow that by questions as well.
Hi everyone, it's Lisa Feldman, and I want to reiterate our thanks for your patience with the technology. Before we begin, now that you are in GoToWebinar, as a reminder, when you want to ask a question, click the question text box on the right side. I see that many of you have already done this. We know that when we were using BlueJeans, you could see each other's questions, and we all really liked that. That is not something that GoToWebinar allows, but we did make the trade-off to have better recording quality for the screenshots, so we are using GoToWebinar for better replay. Well, while we're working on advancing the slides, I'm going to go over something I think you might know already, which is the timeline and methodology of the project. This is the rainbow slide that many of you have seen. And the first 4 go lives up through February were really focused on, oh, here now you can see it. We're really focused on undergraduate admissions and graduate admissions. We actually went live with graduate admissions in December, and today is decision day for undergraduate admissions. So we have undergraduate admissions and financial aid in place, and as of this past Monday, we also launched to the entire campus, and in particular, enrollment is launching this week. So we know that you as advisors are caring very much about enrollment. So that's what we are covering a lot in these webinars. And as you know, you now have a dashboard, the top purple row, which is going to be evolving practically every week with more links and more functionality. I want to review all the things that for this go live that's happening over these weeks, all the different things you need to know. We've gone over many of them, and today we're working on the 4th one down, running reports for students. We get lots of questions about how this is being communicated. And we saw a Cal message earlier this week. We also have emails going out to smaller audiences. We're working with the Academic Senate. We actually have an sis.berkeley.edu webpage that we are directing people towards for more information. We know that if we email students and faculty and anyone a lot of information, they won't read it, so we're getting people to go to the website. And a quick review of lingo, which I review every time because even we trip over it, we who have been working on this for a very long time. Campus Solutions is the name of the PeopleSoft product that manages all the data and processes of the student information systems. CalCentral is the portal that students and advisors use to access much of the functionality. We often abbreviate Campus Solutions as CS, which can get very confusing. And the next thing I want to make sure we differentiate is Cal Student Central versus CalCentral. CalCentral is the portal. Cal Student Central is the place that students, primarily undergraduates, go when they have questions. We're working very closely with Cal Student Central to get them up to speed so they can answer student questions on this. We abbreviate Cal Student Central CSC. So we have a lot of abbreviations that start with C and a lot of words that start with C, and we all need to speak slowly when we are referring to these. And with this, I'm going to pass it over to Jenna, who's going to go over the Reporting Center.
Hi, this is Janet again. I just wanted to introduce Jenna Allen, who's a member of the SIS Project reporting team. Just to lead off, before we pass it off to Jenna, I wanted to introduce you to logging on to CalCentral and what you find when you're there. So we do the username and passphrase, of course. And we have to remember to correctly spell our names. Okay, this should do it. And what we see is my dashboard. That's where we land in CalCentral when we log in. And over on the right, we have the Advising Resources card. And to address today's demonstration, we're going to jump off into the Reporting Center with a click.
Okay, this is Jenna Allen from the reporting team on the SIS project, and that now launches my turn to talk. So what you should see on your screens is the reporting center coming up, and the reporting center was designed to be a one-stop shop of sorts for you to be able to see the reports or queries that you have access to and to be able to run them easily. Throughout the demonstration, I may use the terminology query or report. I really mean the same thing at this point. There are a few reports that might have more specialized formatting, but in general, what you'll see when we run these is essentially a query that pulls data back and gives it to you in a simple format for you to use for your jobs. So to give you an orientation of the reporting center, on the left column, you'll see an organization of all the reports that you have access to. And those are organized into pagelets by sort of larger reporting areas. And then underneath those pagelets, so the first one that I would be looking at here at the top is called AA Advising. Underneath each pagelet, we've then organized the reports into folders. And many of the folders will follow typical business processes or other groupings that are used on the project to make it more meaningful for the work that you do. Under the Advising pagelet, you'll see that there's a folder called Biodemo. So there are some Biodemo reports, as well as enrollment appointments and some enrollment appointment reports. There is some repetition if you start to move down the page potentially for different users. They may also have access to reports in other areas of the system. So if you also have a role that has to do with being a scheduler, or you might also do other types of reporting, you may find other pagelets that you can see when you come into this center. What you see on my page is what this test case that Janet's using sees. But if you see something slightly different, it's not necessarily wrong at all. It does partly depend on your role on campus and the types of things that you do. One thing you should know is that the reports that you do see are the ones that you have access to. So you won't be seeing reports that you can't run. So anything that's there is something that you can click on and run, and we'll show you that. Advising is a exciting area in the reporting center because you borrow from across many areas of the system to do your reporting. So for advisors, you may well see things for Biodemo. You may see enrollment information, you may see other things. And as we slowly roll out with each go live, the data and then the reports, it will keep getting added to your pagelet. So you will continue to see reports added on there as the system continues to roll out. I'm going to show you how to launch a report in just a minute, but I'd first like to go through the rest of the center and just give you a sense of what's available. So exclusively on that left-hand side, as I scroll down, you'll see there's different pagelets with different reports available. If you see a folder that doesn't have a report under it, it's because a report hasn't been released yet. In some cases, we've kept the folders there because reports are coming out almost every week now. But if there's a report, it will have a title similar to what I'm scrolling on here. So here I've put my cursor over the title Current Service Indicators, and you'll notice the title of this report. If I just hover over it and leave my cursor there, it gives me a short description. So this is a quick way, if it's not clear to you from the title of the report, what's in it, to get a little more information. So you can scroll over these and see the information about them. Over on the right-hand side, can I move that? Sorry, I'm just going to move this a little so that I can see the top of my scroll bar. Perfect. over to the right-hand side, so the right-hand column, we basically put information there that provides sort of resources for you as you use this reporting center. At the very top, we wanted to make sure that we put any type of new notifications or alerts that you might need in running or using these reports. So we've called that top area usage alerts. And I do actually want to just mention two of the ones that are posted out here because they may impact the reports that you'll be using here in the center. So certainly we're in transit right now between different systems. There are some things that will still remain in our legacy systems until the time that it comes over into the new system. And we, for the most part, try to indicate to you what is the current system of record until we kind of transition over. So something to note in this first alert is that these bio-demo reports that you will see over there on the left, the 3 reports on student information, those are Bearfax reports. So it's 3 reports that used to be in Bearfax, and those reports currently are also still in Bearfax. So if you are looking for information on students' address, email, or phone for continuing students, then you would still run and use your Bearfax reports through the summer. If you want that information for new admits, for fall admits, then you would use these reports in Campus Solutions. It's a little bit confusing, but it is what we have to do because currently our new system is only the system of record for those new admits until September. In September, this report will update and it'll show you all students. So it's just something to note that if you ran those reports and only saw a few students in them today, that's correct because we may only have just a few students who have our fall admits for fall 16. There's another alert underneath that. So for your enrollment appointment reports, currently we have information on students' career program and plan in that report. That information in the new system is not real time yet, but it will be. But today it is not. So what happens is we upload that information and refresh it. And here we just want to make a notice to you, the schedule for when we've refreshed that data. We wanted to make sure that you still had access to these reports because it's a big value to you, even though we don't have real-time information on the career program plan information for those students. So this is another alert just to make you aware. If you're looking at the report and you're wondering about that information, there may be a delay in how fresh that information is, and that's the refresh schedule underneath it, March, April, and August. And if there are any issues or questions with that, you should definitely contact us and we can talk more about it. Underneath that area on alerts is an area called the query viewer. And what this is actually the traditional way in the system that you would run a query. What we've done here in the reporting center that makes your lives easier is actually just provide this link where if I click on it, it launches my report automatically. It's a much faster way to do it. The reason that we've provided you this window where you could actually input a query name is this is the only way for you to be able to set up favorites. And we wanted to make sure that you did have the opportunity to do that. So I'm going to walk through how we do that. Right now in the reporting center, you might not see too many reports, and so it's not too big a deal to find the 3 or 4 that you like to use. As we go through time, there will be many reports added here, and it may be that you don't want to scroll through all of these reports, and you'd like to simply favorite the couple of reports that you use most often. So I want to show you how we do that now. You add a query name here in the query name prompt. And right now, you don't know, if you're just here in the reporting center, you don't actually know what the query name is. You know what the title is, and the title is over here. And when you see the title, you know what type of report it is. But the actual name behind the query is something that we've stored out on our website, and I want to show you where to find that. So if you come to the SIS Project website, you'll see that there's a reporting tab, and you can click on that tab. Underneath that tab, it has some general information on what types of reports are coming out according to the schedule in the upcoming months. Where you would want to go is something called the list of reports. That shows you all of the new reports in the system. These are the same reports that are available in the reporting center. However, we can give you a little bit more information about them here on the website, and this is something that's publicly available to anybody, so it's a good resource and documentation area. This is the title that you saw in the reporting center that you could click on. Next to it is the actual query name. This is what you would need to go ahead and do the step to favorite, and we'll go ahead and do that together. Once you have favorited something one time, you don't need to do this step again. So while it's cumbersome to come out and get this and do it, you only have to do it once, which is the good news. Something else I'd like to show you while we're out here is if you click on the report name, we've provided a summary document about that query, a little more documentation about it. If you have to share this information with someone else and you'd like to give them some documentation on the query that you've run and you're giving to them, this is an area where we've provided information about that query. Every query in the new system has a summary page. So here, I'm interested in looking at that enrollment appointment report again, and I'm going to scroll through alphabetically until I find it by the title. Maybe it wasn't called that. Let's see. I'll choose a different one. Let me go up and see. Yes, is that what it was called? There, perfect. Student enrollment appointments. I'm going to go ahead and take that query name and copy it. And then here I will paste it in and hit search. It finds it for me. And you'll see here, I have that query name, the description. I could launch the report from here, but there's no need to when I can come over here and just click on the title. It's actually easier. But what an option here that it gives me that's important to note is to schedule, and I'll talk about that in a minute, and then to favorite. So here I will go ahead and favorite it. After I've favorited it, I can go to my page here where there's a refresh button and go ahead and hit refresh so that you can see next time you come into the system that it would be there waiting for you. So there it is. And I can favorite as many as I want and they'll be here waiting for me. I showed you that there was also the option to schedule. There's a number of steps involved with going ahead and scheduling a report. I'm not going to run through those today, although we do have a job aid that we're finalizing and we will get that out to the community soon so that you can take the easy steps to go ahead and schedule something. Something to note about scheduling, it gives you a snapshot of the data at a particular time that it's scheduled. Whenever else you run these queries, you will always be getting real-time data. So anytime you run a query, you're going to get it as of the very up-to-the-minute moment today that data, what the data looks like. But sometimes you may want to have a snapshot of a previous time. This would be how you do that. You would schedule it, and you would schedule it for that specific time. And then in this report list area underneath, you would have all of your scheduled reports here. So they would be listed here. And you can customize this to tell you how many of them you would like to see. On this pagelet, you come up to this window and say personalize. And then you can actually choose, I'd like to keep only 5 of my scheduled reports within these certain time periods here available for me. This can be a very convenient thing if you actually want to schedule reports for somebody else, another user who you think might just want to have a short list of things that are scheduled for them. You can schedule them daily, once a week, once a semester. Whenever you need those reports, you can have them ready to go, and they would appear right here on your reporting center, customized to you, so that you could run them and see when they had last been run. Underneath these resource areas, I want to take you down to the reporting assistance area. That tells you about how to get help if you have questions. There's a help desk with information, and this rolled out recently without our most current information on the help desk. Option 6 is actually what will get you to the right place to log an issue for the new SIS project. If you're having trouble finding the report over to the left in that set of folders and pagelets, we do have some resources back out on that website, and this links you to those as well. The list of reports is the one that I had just taken you to, where we saw the title and we saw that there was summary page information. The other thing is a crosswalk of reports. And that crosswalk lists all of the reports that we have rolled out or we are going to roll out as they crosswalk to our old reports in the system. So let me scroll down. You can see on this crosswalk, it shows the old system, Bearfax. It shows the name of the report. It shows if we've chosen to reproduce it again, or maybe it will be retired given new system functionality. If it's been reproduced, we tell you what the new report is. This interface is a little bit tricky. You have to scroll to show the information about the new report. If it's something that's easier for you to simply download and pivot and look through, you're welcome to download it. We've given you that option here. And this crosswalk, as you scroll down, it will crosswalk to the things that we have already released. It actually includes everything on our list from the old systems, even if we have not released it yet. So if it's coming in the future, at least you can see what's on our list, and then there's a TBD as to what it will crosswalk to.
And we did have a question about what other reports are released in the future. This is where they would look to see what's coming, right? Great, thank you.
Yep, great question. And we have encouraged everybody when we get an opportunity to talk about reports, if there's something that you think you need that you're wondering if we've got it on our list, you can check our list or you can send us an email. And we absolutely have the resources and the time and completely the interest to make sure that we get the reports out that you need as we go along. So if you can let us know, and if you're the type of person who already has it organized on a spreadsheet, you could send us your spreadsheet. Any way that you've got information about the reports you rely on, you can send them to us, and we will do a compare against our crosswalk and let you know if there's anything missing. We have already had a number of people from campus do that for us, and it's been incredibly helpful, and we really encourage it. On our reporting website, just so that you're aware, there is a link that says missing a report. You can click on that and use that to notify us. Also, if you come to the home page, you'll see here all of the people on our team, and you could contact any of us, but you can certainly contact me directly. So back to the reporting center. We also have some links to training materials, as well as requesting a new report. So for the most part, if there is a report that you don't see that you would like to see a new one, you can contact us without going through the help desk. And we've tried to make that easy for you. There are a number of groups like admissions and financial aid that would actually like you to contact them directly. For all other areas, you can contact me. And as we go along, we will be adding more contacts in from the different department offices. There are links to training materials. I'm not going to go into those. Those basically show you what I showed you before here about entering the query name in and running it through the viewer. Instead, I'm going to take you up and show you how to launch a query and see the results from it. But I'd like to pause first and make sure we leave some time for questions on what we've already showed you for the reporting center.
Okay, we've got some very good questions. A number of people are playing along as they go, as you go through this. Carolyn is saying she's following along and just added a couple reports to her favorites list. But when she tries to reopen them, it doesn't remember the search parameters. Is there a way to set up defaults? Jenna is saying, oh, the defaults that she set up in Campus Solutions aren't being picked up. So there is no way to set up defaults is the answer to that. And then we have another question from Sharon. From the current, this might be similar. Let's see, from the current service indicators report, I noticed that we can't choose the data fields that appear. When she ran the report, she was hoping to see CPP displayed.
She could log a request and that would be in the report.
So
she can't do that herself.
Okay, so you can't do that yourself, but if you log a request, we can make that an enhancement to the report. And it looks like Sharon is not seeing everything, not seeing the help on the reporting center, only query viewer and report list. I'm going to hand this back to you. So that might be a bug. And Sharon has a couple questions.
So yes, if you can't see the help pagelet, then that's a bug and that's something we'll need to fix. So if you can you're welcome to send me an email and tell me who you are and give me a screenshot, and we'll go ahead and get a ticket logged right away and make sure that we figure out what's going on with your access.
And then Laura asks, I understand that we will not have access to query data for new fall 2016 admitted students until after April 1st. Since students are SIRing today, is there a way to get that data sooner? So for that one, we need to check with admissions. I have seen an SIR report in another context, but that was for graduate data only. So we need to follow up with the undergraduate team and see what's going on with that. But for now, you should probably contact the undergraduate office directly. But I recognize that this is a challenge. So we will also be talking to the undergraduate group. They're admitting students today. They might be a little hard to catch today, but we will check with them on an SIR report on undergrad. Okay, here's another one. Will we be able to do batch downloads of unofficial transcripts and semester grades for a department?
I am not sure about batch downloads. I am going to run a report for you and show you how you can download the information from the report, but I will go ahead and put a note down about that and find out, and we will follow up. As far as unofficial transcripts, if that is something that you as an advisor are allowed to see, and that comes out onto our reporting center for you to be able to run, then yes, you could certainly run it and then download it from here. Everything that comes into the reporting center is able to be downloaded, and that's wonderful news for everybody, but it's also a new responsibility. And we did include in your slide deck a page about FERPA guidelines. We're going to keep putting out reminders about secure data and making sure that everybody remembers how to download and store data in a secure location. Now that we've got that increased access, we have to be extra careful.
And actually, I have a question. Our last webinar was about schedule of classes. Did I see a report about schedule of classes on the list?
Yeah, I believe that there are some student records reports on schedule of classes and course catalog that were released in Go Lives 2 and 3. So if you have that access, you would see them there under the student records pagelet. For some of you who might do scheduling, you may well see, let's see, let me scroll down. It's alphabetical. So under student records, catalog and schedule, there's a folder. And I'm showing this on my screen. I don't know when attendees of the webinar, when you go to do this, if you will see this or not. If you're not a scheduler with scheduler responsibilities, you might not see this, so I'm not sure. If you don't see it and you feel you should see it, then definitely contact us. So here on my screen, I see that, and then I see a number of reports around scheduling.
As a follow-up question, can we print or download a full campus-wide schedule of classes from here? I know there's a lot of craving for access to schedule of classes. You will actually get access. I think you can now. I'm sorry, I don't know which is. If you cannot see on your advising card, resources card now, a schedule of classes button, which I think you can, you will definitely see one on Monday, where you will start to be able to explore schedule of classes, as we went over last webinar. But can they print or download if they have if they are schedulers?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead. This might be a great time to just show you what it looks like when we run one of these and your options to download it. I will definitely confess I do not know what all of these reports are, and I have not yet had the joy to come through and click each one and see what each one of them contains. I am looking forward to doing that. I encourage you to go ahead and do that and look through what you have access to so far. Each of our module teams are responsible actually for identifying the reports, making sure that they're reproducing the reports that are needed, designing them and rolling them out, and having them tested by users. So the student records team is fantastic, and they've put these reports out. If there's questions about the data in these reports, you can certainly go through the help desk, and you will get routed over to the student records team, to the people there who know what's in the reports as well as what's coming next. So if you are looking for schedule information and you don't see that you have access to it here, you can certainly contact and put in a question about that. And right now I'll go ahead and run one of these reports. Let's see. So all you do is click on the title, and what it will do is take you right to the prompts. You'll notice that there's no data in the columns beneath the prompts. It always starts off blank until you've told it which data to bring back. If a prompt is required, it'll be starred. And you can use the hourglass, the looking glass here if you're not sure about the format of the information that should be entered in the prompt. It will give you a lookup table. So here, if you're not familiar yet with our new convention for term, you can go ahead and look it up, and it'll have a description that makes sense. And I'll go ahead and choose fall, and I'll choose undergrad. And I'm going to leave the rest blank, but you could certainly customize it to come back with the information for your school or department. Sometimes when you launch it, if there are a lot of results, so before I say that, I just want to bring my cursor over here and just circle. There's a little button over here to the left where it shows you it's thinking about it and it's processing your request. It's so small that sometimes you miss it and you might wonder, oh, did it take my request? And you might keep trying to click. So just to let you know, that's where it's placed. And we don't have control. We got lots of feedback and testing. Could we move that right to the center? We don't have control over that. I wish we could. Before we look at the results, I did want to just mention at the very bottom of the prompts is a prompt for institution, which is UC Berkeley 1. It may seem that this shouldn't be necessary or it's inconvenient to have it there because obviously we are Berkeley. Unfortunately, the way the data works in the background, this has to be selected in order for the other prompts to work. So it does need to be there. We've left it down at the bottom so that it's less in your way, and you can simply leave the default there and not touch it. So just as something to mention to you, it will be there and hopefully just sit there quietly so that you can use the prompts to pull back the data that you need. You'll notice here now that the data has loaded. And again, as we said, this is not a particularly fancy report. It's really like a query with query results. And you'll see here the data in the columns. You're welcome to scroll through and quickly look up the information that you need. But you could also, if you needed to, export it to Excel or CSV or XML. So for every single one of these queries, you'll have this export option. And again, just practice safe storing for your data and distribution methods that are in accordance with FERPA guidelines on the campus. You will also notice that that you can scroll through to a next page of results if you've pulled back a lot of data. Sometimes when you go ahead and run your data, you might get a message that says it's pulling back too many rows. It's fine to go ahead and say, okay, that won't bring the system down. There won't be any problem with that. All it will do is only show you the first 50,000 rows of your results. So 50,000 rows is a lot. It'll only show you the first 50,000 rows. If you actually need the full data set, which could be larger than that, then what you would do is schedule it. And when you schedule it, it will actually dump out the entire data set for you. So the system itself just limits to you being able to view at one time only 50,000 rows or less. And that's about it. It's really quite an easy and convenient tool to simply quickly run, customize, and pull up the data that you need. Per the questions that came in, which were really good questions, you cannot save these prompts once you've ran it once. I wish that you could, but you can't. And that's just a limitation of the tool. Also, you are not able to actually move around or change these columns or the data that's being displayed. We definitely are looking forward to getting enhancement requests from you to get the reports just the way that you need them. And you've always got the option to export it and go ahead and customize it, the format, the way that you need to.
Jenna, now that we've come here, how do we get back to the reporting center?
So every time you, that's a great question, Lisa. Every time you run a report, it opens that the report running in a new tab. So this was actually our original tab here from the reporting center. So we open up a new tab to do that. You could also come here through the menu and click back to reporting, or you could go ahead and click back to your tab, your original tab. Something else I'd like to show you, as you start to get more of this information in your reporting center, and you may see a lot of reports, on each pagelet there is the settings button, and I didn't show you, but you can minimize these. So if you don't want to scroll through all of this and you really only need to see a few of these, you're welcome to minimize these and get them out of your way. So that's another point to let you know about.
So were there any further questions? No further questions. Well, in that case, I wanted to say thank you very much for your participation and your presence at today's webinar. And we have no more webinars scheduled. However, we will be having one on the transfer credit report and on the workflow GTE forms upcoming and will be scheduled for your convenience. Thanks again for participating, and we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar.